What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SOS Stacey on Sports podcast show. I am your host, the voice of sports, Stacey Carter II. With me today, coming back to the show for the second time, out of Virginia, got the great Mike White, JR on the show. Mike, what's up?
Hey, man, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Glad to be back. Last time, I think we was talking basketball, but hey, you know what time it is now, man. NFL season.
Yes,
so I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Of course, we got a jam-packed episode centered around the NFL. Gonna give you our biggest takeaways. Of course, we got to talk about Mike's Packers, and he got a vent. He got to let it out. And we gonna get to MVP talk and much, much more. So let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Let's not waste time. Let's go to week one from start to finish. Crazy. We had a close game on Thursday Night Football to open things up. And to close things out, had a close game that went into overtime. So let's talk about week one. What was your biggest takeaway or takeaways from the first week of action in the NFL?
So without being biased, I ain't going to start with the Packers because obviously we got a whole topic for that. But one of my biggest takeaways, what I really liked, what I saw from them, man, let's talk about the Cardinals for a second, man. Now, look, Titans is supposed to be a team. They were 11-5 last year. They're supposed to be a team that's supposed to take that next step this year. You got Derrick Henry, Tannehill showing us his second career, quote unquote, with the Titans is taking off. You add Julio Jones. Like, this is supposed to be a team that people fear when you come in town. And for real, the Cardinals smacked them. Like, it was no competition. Now, I'm not surprised that the Cardinals dropped as many points as they did. Tennessee wasn't great on defense last year, so I didn't expect them to be that much better this year. But what really impressed me about the Cardinals is their defense. Defense forced 2 fumbles, had an interception, held Derrick Henry in check. Now, remember, the Titans is a team that last year was 4th in points, 2nd in yards, and like the Cardinals defense really just made them look like they weren't ready for week one, just like my Packers. But anyways, they just made them look like they weren't ready for week one. So I was really impressed by the Cardinals. You got Hopkins out there, Christian Kirk. You got a whole lot of options. I forgot they got AJ Green. He randomly popped up with 2 catches. So, I mean, the Cardinals look poised for a big step up this year. I believe, what was their record last year? I believe they were 8-8. 3rd in the West, something like that, 9-7, something there. But I think this is definitely a team that could win 11 to 12 games this year, maybe more, depending on how their schedule is. I haven't really took a look, but that's my big takeaway. I love what I've seen from the Cardinals, and if this is the type of ball they're going to be playing, especially on defense. Didn't even mention JJ Watt on the team. Now, if this is the type of defense they're going to be playing, it's definitely a team to watch out for.
Yeah, Cardinals, whatever.
You ain't feeling the Cardinals, man. I see you with your jersey on.
Hey, look, they can do whatever they can do, but at the end of the day,
okay,
this is who it's all about right here.
Okay, talk to me.
Right here. But speaking of the Cardinals, piggyback off you, my biggest takeaway, the NFC West is going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a fight all the way to the finish.
Dog fight.
Yeah, dog fight. All 4 teams won, pretty much handled their opponents. Well, the Lions did try to make a comeback, but the Niners, they was ahead throughout most of the game. I said this last week, this division is going to come down to quarterback play. Whatever quarterback plays the best in its division, that team is going to win the division. His team is going to win the division. For years, it's been Russell Wilson. But now you got Matthew Stafford in the fold with, the Rams, and he was 20 out of 26. Kyler Murray is a magician in and out that pocket. And say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. When he's in the game and he plays and he starts, he wins. Right. I think his record is like 29-13 or 30-13 as a starter. When he plays, he wins. And all 4 of these teams have pretty good to great defenses too. So it's going to be a dogfight to the end. 2 other takeaways. One, are we seeing the new and improved Jameis Winston? Are we seeing it? Are we seeing it? Let's talk about now. I know it's against your Packers, right?
Right.
But let's look at the positives here. Jameis Winston, we all know what he's been through. threw 30 interceptions. Last
Right.
time he was a starter with the Buccaneers, sat back a year under Drew Brees, and now look, he's starting 5 touchdowns and more importantly, 0 interceptions. I know he threw 148 yards, but that was an effective, very effective 148 yards. If he continues playing like that, the Saints, they still gonna be in the same place. They're not gonna drop off that much. Remember, last year, I believe in the regular season, they swept the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
They swept them, they beat them. They could do that again this year. The Saints have the Buccaneers numbers, so it might not be an easy time in that division for the Buccaneers if we thought. And the last thing, and I definitely want to get your take on this. Can the Cleveland Browns be special? They almost won the game. If Baker Mayfield did not throw that interception, if he did not throw that interception, you can make an argument that the Cleveland Browns could win the game. I said this when we linked up last time on the episode. They can go as far as the AFC Championship game. They can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They have all the tools, all the pieces in places, but Baker Mayfield, you can't.
You don't trust him? You don't trust him?
I mean, I think I like Baker Mayfield, but he gotta learn. He gotta learn how to manage a little bit more. He gotta learn how to hit the big play. Use the arm talent a little more. I think he's getting there. But as you see with that interception, it's not quite there yet. We got the Ravens, they're weaker now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are weaker. Cincinnati, they're retooling, rebranding, and everything. Quick question about the Browns. How do you see them faring out week 2 and on?
So look, so the Browns are that team that has everything you could want. Got pieces here, pieces there, pieces on both sides of the ball. It's just, can they put it together? Can they get over that stigma of being the Browns? And I think what happened in week 1 against the Chiefs is, man, you built up this lead, so much adrenaline's built up. And then once Patrick Mahomes starts doing his thing, he walk you down. Then Baker throws the interception at the end. I agree with you. They could beat the Chiefs, but I also think that the Chiefs just have so much experience. They've been down. Like, how many times have we seen the Chiefs down and they just walk these teams back down, win, and it's nothing? We've seen them do it in regular season. We've seen them do it in the playoffs. We've seen these guys do it at the highest level. So I agree that, yes, maybe they could make the AFC Championship game, but man, I just there's something missing. If they had a veteran quarterback, someone like, let's say this offseason, right? Let's say we get rid of Rodgers and you put somebody like that in the Browns, then okay, now we talking like, okay, I could probably see them beating the Chiefs, pulling out, because I definitely like their defense much better than I like the Chiefs. But Baker, he's still growing, he's still learning. Granted, he's been in the league for a few years now, but he's still relatively young in this QB game and in his NFL career. So I think they're going to have a good season, much better than last year. Obviously, they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a tough out for every team, not mention the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs are they've been there, they've done that, and they're even more motivated with losing this last Super Bowl to the Bucs that honestly, right now, early predictions, I don't see nobody standing in the way of them reaching back to the Super Bowl. So again, love Cleveland. I think they're going to be there right at the end. They definitely got a puncher's chance, but I still think they're maybe a year or two away from being that team. Like, okay, when they come in, we know we're going to lose, right? And that team knows we're going to win. I think they're about 2 years away from that.
2 years away.
I still think they're 2 years, man. It's tough, man. It's just, the league is so talented now. Like, when you look at these QBs everywhere, and it seems like every team has a decent, like, you're going against somebody every night. And so it's hard to just put them over a team like the Chiefs, though. And there's so many teams that you could just have one off week and any team could beat you. Like, we're not even talking about them, but look how Joe Burrow performed. You know what I'm saying? Granted, it's the Vikings, but that's just the likes of who you could run into. And if you catch them on a day where they're hot and you're not on your shit, excuse my language, that's just it, man. That's just it.
Don't worry about the language. I will put that. They're one in the expletive. Like you're
Yeah.
covered. You're covered.
I got
You're
you.
covered.
Go ahead.
Let's just go on to let's just get it out the way. Let's just get it out the way. Let you vent. Get it all out there. You got to talk about the Green Bay Packers. We got to talk about the Green Bay Packers. 38-3 beat down by the New Orleans Saints. Aaron Rodgers 15-28, well under 200 yards passing, 2 interceptions. I've seen a lot of tweets about Kevin King. Got burnt again.
Again, it's like we're still in the same season, right? It's like nothing changed, right? My bad.
Nothing changed. Got burnt again, and the press conference, of course, following the loss, Aaron Rodgers reminiscent of the time he was like, relax.
Right.
Relax. He's like, it's a long season, 17 weeks, just one game. Just one game. But the question is it really though? Like, what's going on with the Green Bay Packers? Do you think this is cause to wave the red flag, or should everybody just relax and it's just 1 week?
So obviously, us watching the game, we know we should relax after 1 week. But I'm going to react with emotion. I'm a little worried. I'm going to just be real. Look, I told you I brought the jacket, but I wouldn't dare put it on today because the first thing I wrote down when we was going to talk about this game, before I get to the offense side of the ball, all I wrote down is defense still trash. Plain and simple. I understand that Aaron Rodgers didn't come out and perform, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but the defense is still giving up so many yards on the ground. Alvin Kamara averaged about 4 yards a pop on the ground. I forget the backup running back's name, but he came in and was averaging about the same. What did they have? They had 171 yards on the ground as a team. I believe that's more than they had passing. So if you keep giving up 4 or 5 yards on first down, and then you put another quarterback with first, second, and 5s and 3rd and 2s, yeah, you're going to get blitzed. And this defense is just, granted, I got it. It's week 1, and I'm going to keep telling myself that, and I'm going to keep saying that. But honestly, even from the preseason, the defense doesn't look any better. I'm going to just be honest. When they're running the ball, they're gaining yards. When they're passing the ball, we finally get them on the 3rd down. Dude scrambles around. There's someone always open. If Jair Alexander isn't guarding them, Lord help us, because it's most likely a completion. I believe Jameis Winston was averaging like 9 yards a throw or 7 yards a throw, something like that. Like, that's horrible. Like, granted, no disrespect to Jameis, but if Jameis is doing that to you, what's going to happen when you trying to go back against the Bucks, right? When you trying to go against Brady, who you know what I'm saying, who's got a proven track record? What's going to happen if we got to play the Rams and Stafford's been slinging the ball? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Yes, watch out. Anyways, but like, honestly, man, the defense, I'm still not impressed. That's always been the Achilles heel. Now, switching to the offensive side of the ball, I will say this, and you know I love Aaron Rodgers, love my team, love everything he brings. I'm tired of the talking, man. I'm tired of the talking. He talked all summer, right? You want this, you want that, you wanted Cobb. We shouldn't have got rid of this dude, that dude. That's cool, man. But when the season on and you come out and have arguably your worst game of all time, and I'm not even mad so much at the loss, but 38-3, you didn't get in the end zone and you threw 2 interceptions. This is Aaron Rodgers we talk about. He threw how many interceptions last year in the regular season? 4? 5?
5. He threw 5. 48-5.
And you threw 2 on the opening day. Like, come on, man. Then even after the game, you know, he was doing the interview, the little podcast show with Pat McAfee, saying, you know, I got hit in the nuts and this and that. I'm really tired of hearing him talk. I wish he wouldn't do that show again to the end of the season. Like, yes, we get it. The Packers haven't treated you great. I've said that over the years. The Packers haven't gotten this. The Packers haven't gotten that. I get that, man. But if there's one thing you knew when you played the Green Bay Packers is you're going to have to put some points up, because, you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to, you know, he's going to do his thing. He's going to find a way, scratch, claw, scream, whatever he need to do to keep the Packers in the game, no matter how bad the defense is. And you come out and put up 3 points, man, I'm not impressed, man. The talking just seems so extra now when you come out and look at the result. Now, again, week 1, first game. It was also in Florida. Packers really don't play well in hot weather. I'll give them that. They so used to that Green Bay, that Lambeau Field. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The time for all this talking, all this, I wanted that, and we need to play better. If there's anybody on the Green Bay Packers that need to play good this year, I don't care what you got. It's Aaron Rodgers. You want us to compare you to Brady. You want us to keep you in the conversation with the greatest of the greats. This is not how you open the season up when you fresh off an NFC Championship game 2 years in a row. Fresh off 13-3, seasons back to back, man. So I was very disappointed in my team. I was disappointed, and don't get me wrong, both sides of the ball. We didn't do nothing. Granted, the defense didn't hold them, but the times they did hold them when the game was still in the thralls of being won, I think Saints was up maybe 17-3. A touchdown, that's a game right there. You're only down a touchdown after that. So I'm disappointed in my Packers, but I won't say it's time to wave the red flag. I do believe, especially offensively, this team will find itself. And it might start this week, Monday night against Detroit. I'm going to just be real with you. It might start that week. I think there's still going to be a top 5 offense, just like last year they was number 1. Maybe not number 1 this year, but definitely top 5. But all this talking and the defense it's got me a little worried. Like on a scale of 1 to 10 on the worry meter, I'm at a solid 4 right now. That don't sound like a lot, but before the season started, I was at a 0. So that just lets you know in a small amount of time, they done got me worried a little bit.
All right. Well, let's put it like this. Let's present it how it is. Aaron Rodgers was going back and forth about whether he wanted to play for Green Bay or whether he wanted to retire. Did he want to go somewhere else? There was rumors about him actually getting traded. People was talking about the 49ers, the Broncos, rumors about the Browns even. And he didn't play. I don't think he played in the preseason at all, right? Didn't play in the preseason, barely got to training camp, had to reconstruct his deal. So, of course he's going to come out rusty on the field. I mean, that's a given all that is going on and the mental aspect of everything. I mean,
the only reason I'm not giving him that pass, if we were coming back into the season with a new head coach, new receivers, new running backs, if there was some drastic change offensively, I might be more inclined to give him that excuse. But we brought back the same people. We brought back the same personnel. You just told us you and Matt LaFleur could never be closer. They said it wouldn't work. Now look at us. Aaron Jones is back. I can't give him that excuse. That's just me as a Packer fan. Maybe I'm being hard, but I can't give him that excuse. If anything, the offense should have been fine. Yeah, maybe a little slow, rocky out the gate, but not 3 points. 3 points? 3 points. I can't do 3 points, brother. I can't do 3, not 3.
I mean, I just said especially to play quarterback in the NFL, you got to be mentally checked in. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is at that point now. I think, he's trying to think what am I going to do in the future? What do I really want to do? Remember that interview he had with Aaron Andrews? He was talking about being happy. Yeah. And maybe he's not in a happy place. So, of course, when you're not in a happy place mentally, when you're going through some challenges, he was talking about going through depression during the off season, and you're trying to get back to playing not just football, but Super Bowl caliber football. I mean, it's gonna be hard out the gate. And like he said, it's just 1 week. He had a bad week. All the great quarterbacks had a bad week or 2 or 3 in a row. Just relax. But I will say this. About the Packers. Like you said too, and that's the thing that's getting me about the Packers. They are still the same team. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. They have not added no pieces on defense that they need. They don't have another weapon at wide receiver. It's like, yes, the Packers are going to be a great regular season team. They have been the last few years. Like I said, back-to-back 13-3. But the way this team is made up, in the big games, in the playoffs, something always happens. They break down and they are out of it. They don't reach the Super Bowl. And I think that they're going to do well this regular season. They're going to get it back together. but I just don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. I just don't think that because it's still the same. It's still the same.
And I'll be honest with you. I looked at our schedule. I looked down our schedule and I did not like after we lost the first game, I was like, okay, let me look at the schedule and see kind of predict where I think we'll end up. And I didn't even want to predict. That tells you how the schedule look. We got a week where we go against the Chiefs, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks, I believe 3 weeks in a row. It's something like that. Like, we got a tough schedule. And like you said, mental is the biggest thing. We've talked about that before. Mental is so important. I get it. I understand that. But when you come into the interviews and telling me now that everything's all good and me and Brian Gutekunst, we figured it out and I've never been happier. I've got Randall Cobb back. And it's like, okay, if you're happy and you're ready to go and you're ready to commit to this team, then okay, show me. But Jordan Love could have got 3 points on Sunday. That's just my only thing. When you're a quarterback like this, who's been playing as long as Aaron Rodgers has, playing at as high of a level as Aaron Rodgers has, you're allowed a stinker and you're allowed to say relax and stuff. But when you made the whole offseason about you and the first thing, eyes are on you. You know what I'm saying? Eyes are on you. So again, like you said, I took it with a grain of salt. It's week 1. You know what I'm saying? Saints came, Jameis. That's why I wanted to touch on that. You kind of brought up. Jameis did his thing. One thing I really liked from Jameis, he took what we gave him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't try to overdo it like he would have used to did back at Tampa Bay. He didn't try to force receivers open like Aaron Rodgers was doing on Sunday. He took what we gave him. If we gave him something shallow, he took it. If he took it in the mid-range, he took it. He scrambled when we gave it to him. He played a really, really smart game. And that's how you end up with 5 touchdowns and only 100 and something yards. So I like what I seen from Jameis, but Rodgers got to be better, big dog. That's just how I feel. Rodgers has to be better starting Monday night.
Right. And speaking of Monday night, of course, the world thinks that this is where they're going to bounce back. It's the Detroit Lions.
Right.
We talking about here. But let's look at the other side of it.
Okay.
What if they lose the game? Like, just lose. It doesn't matter how they lose, style points, whatever. What if they just lose the game? What would you think then?
It's hard to say, put aside how they lose, because there's the Cowboys losing to the Bucks this week, and then there's us losing to the Saints this week. So granted, both teams are 0-1 at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things. But if I was a Cowboy fan, I feel a lot better than the Packer fans right now. So if we were, let's say, to go play the Lions, and let's say they don't blow us out, but they beat us pretty handily, then my meter goes from 4 to 5, because now it's like, okay, you've owned this team for a while now. Technically, they've gotten worse at the quarterback position. I mean, technically, nothing against Goff, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying. So technically, they've gotten worse at the quarterback situation. You saw how the Niners handled them, right? Now, granted, we don't have the defense of the Niners. This is a division opponent. If you allow them to get that confidence early and you've already lost one game, other teams in the division are going to see that. Now, granted, I'm not really too worried about the Bears as long as they're starting Dalton, no disrespect. But the Vikings are one of those hot and cold teams where one day they can't get it done. Kirk Cousins, should we keep him, blah, blah, blah. And then another day, Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins can't miss. So I think if we lose that game, my worry level goes from a 4 to a 6. But even still, I won't overreact to it because, again, it will still only be 2 games. We have an extra game this season. But I think all that talk about relax and stuff, I don't want to hear that shit. I do not want to hear that after that game, Rodgers. He better play well. I know that part. I can understand our defense giving up a game because they're still trash. Just being real. They're still trash. We got a couple good pass rushers, but that's about it. Obviously, we have Jai Alexander, but collectively, trash. So, again, if the defense give it up, I would understand, but Rodgers needs to play well for sure.
All right. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I know it's just week 1 week in the books, but let's look at very early MVP candidates. Let's look at them. I wrote down a few names. Kyler Murray. I wrote down Kyler Murray. Great performance against Tennessee Titans. Like I said, they was a playoff team last year.
Right.
A lot of people expect them to be even better, but they came out and handled business. Also I wrote down, the usuals, Pat Mahomes. I think Lamar Jackson still has a case, especially if he can get the Ravens back to the playoffs, and Russell Wilson. Those are my early MVP candidates right now. What is your reaction to that list, and do you have like another name?
Okay, so I have my own 3 names, but first I'll react to yours. So you said Kyler Murray first. That's the first guy on my list as well. What can we really say? Yeah, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, dominated, 5 total dominated Titans. I already talked about that earlier. The second name you said was Mahomes. He is 3rd on my list. Comes out.
3rd.
He is 3rd on my list. I have somebody else 2nd right now. But Mahomes, like I said, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, comeback victory, just another day in the office for him. But 2nd, and you might not agree with me because it's not Russell Wilson, even though I'm not mad at that. Russell Wilson would have been 4th on my list. 2nd, I got Tom Brady. I got Tom Brady as 2nd. Look, came out, threw 4 touchdowns. Dallas has an offense now. This wasn't like some blowout or something. Dallas has a little offense now. So Brady comes out, 4 touchdowns. I know Dallas defense isn't good, but what mainly stuck out with me was when Dallas took the lead at the end and it was time for a 4th quarter drive. It was just clockwork for Brady. It was almost too easy. A little questionable offensive pass interference call, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody in the stadium, anybody at home doubted what was about to happen. He moved them down the field easily, field goal range. That's ball game. I mean, that's just what Brady does, man. And even though he had 2 interceptions, one of the interceptions was Leonard Fournette dropping the ball, so I don't put that on Brady. Another one was just a Hail Mary at the end of the half, which my Packers learned. If you don't get back there, he might burn you for one. So I'm not really too mad at those interceptions, man. I just think Brady's coming out. He even touched Mike Evans. Granted, he's got weapons. I get it. He was hitting Brown. He was hitting Gronkowski. He was hitting everybody, but that's just classic Brady, man. So those are my top 3. Murray really impressed me the most because I didn't expect them to handle the Titans like that. Brady is 2nd for me. I just like the comeback. Not comeback, but that final drive, how easy it was for him. It just basically spells out how a lot of people are talking about if they can, how good their record is going to be. And they didn't lose nothing. Like, granted, we could talk about them later. Their defense definitely got some things to worry about, especially at corner. But the way that offense clicks and as many weapons as he's got, I think Brady's going to be up there. And 3rd, man, easy. Got Mahomes, comeback win, easy talk for the Chiefs.
All right, my list, I didn't put in order, but I'm going to tell you who I got at number 1.
Okay.
Out of the names that I just said, who I got number 1. And we're going to focus in on this guy a little bit.
Okay.
It's Russell Wilson.
Right.
It's Russell Wilson, number 1. He is due for an MVP.
Okay.
Russell Wilson has been one of the most consistent, great quarterbacks in the NFL. If it wasn't for Mahomes, if it wasn't for Brady, if it wasn't for Rodgers, we would be talking about Russell Wilson as the best quarterback in the NFL. He puts up stats. He wins games. Even though there's changes around him in the division, he still somehow dominates and he still wins. And the Seahawks, somehow they win in the division. Last year, I think he was the early front runner. He was number 1, but he tailed off at the end. Let's zero in on Russell Wilson. I know you got Kyler Murray as your number 1, right? Right. Kyler Murray, number 1. As of right now. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Russell Wilson's chances of getting the MVP?
So I think he has a great chance, but like you said, will he keep that consistency throughout the whole year? Let's see. Will his running game hold up? Chris Carson, will all of that hold? Will he be able to carry this team again? Because like I already stated earlier, the league is just getting more talented. He's in a tough ass division. I don't doubt he could win MVP, but I want to see if he could continue the hot streak. Last year he started super hot and then just fizzled way off. Be that injuries, be that whatever you want to talk about it. He didn't play as good as he was. So I think my thing with him is I expected them to handle the Colts. Granted, I expected the Bucs to win as well and Mahomes to win, but I didn't really take a whole lot from the Colts game. I want to see him go against one of these top tier teams and put on another performance and see if not just him, because I know his numbers are going to be there, but can this team win? Can he carry them over these top teams, especially in that division when it's got that much better?
Well, I would say the Colts are supposed to have a great defense. They supposed to have great defense.
Right.
And I mean, he still got the job done.
He did.
What you said about him tailing off, the same thing could be said about Kyler Murray. Remember, last year, the Cardinals, they started 6-3 and then they fell off.
Yeah.
So let's say if that happens again, Russell Wilson still manages to be consistent. I think voter fatigue has set in for Mahomes and to a certain extent for Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson. Would you give it to Russell Wilson then?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously, yes, I would give it to him if that tails off. It's going to be tough, though. I got to see how that record look. That division, like we already talked about, that division is going to be rough. Like anything can happen in there. So let's see how that record turn out. But again, if you're telling me at the end of the year Russell Wilson's the MVP, I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah. We'll see. The one thing I did not like about my list is no other position. It's like no other position, and it's hard to try to put somebody else that's a running back, that's a wide receiver, even a defensive person. Right now, MVP talk, I think some MVP talk should go to Chandler Jones right now. He just came off 5 sacks. So,
hell of a game.
Yeah, so I mean, it gets tiring, like just pick quarterback all the time.
And especially after it's only been 1 week. So unless you did something that like a running back just went crazy, broke a record, it's hard because the QB just has the ball in their hands all the time, man. They control so much of the game. And granted, you hear the whole mantra, defense wins championships, this and that. We're about to talk about a team in a second that could possibly use some quarterback help. And you need someone who could get there and command things. No matter how great your defense is, you're going to need a guy who could put up some points, especially in this league. So I understand, but I think it's going to be this way for a long time. QBs just kind of run the thing. Unless you have as a running back a 2,000-yard season or something. See,
that's
crazy.
The thing. Derrick Henry just had a 2,000-yard season,
and Rodgers took it. Like,
man,
it sucks. It sucks for those other positions, but I think there's also a little bit of an understanding too, though, because quarterbacks control so much of the game.
Yeah, man. It's sad. And see, speaking of quarterbacks, they're controlling this damn show. Speaking of quarterbacks, got to talk about one in particular, Jalen Hurts. We got to zero in on Jalen Hurts. I remember last time we talked about Carson Wentz moving on, which he did. He's with the Colts. You actually brought up the Colts. I forgot to bring him up, but you actually brought them up as a destination. And that's where he is. And his replacement, Jalen Hurts, came out week 1, played fantastic. 27 out of 35, 264, 3 touchdowns. Now, did he solidify his spot as the starting quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles? Remember, his coach, Nick Sirianni, the new head coach, didn't really commit to Jalen Hurts. I know that's not his guy. He didn't draft Jalen Hurts, whatever. But he really didn't commit. A lot of people still question his arm strength and everything. Did he answer the call? And now is the Eagles quarterback going forward? Is he the future of the Eagles, the now and the future?
So what I would say is he answered the call for week 1. He answered the call for week 1. Were you going against anybody really? No, let's be honest. We don't expect much from the Falcons this year. Unfortunately, that's what I was about to say. Maybe offensively, we expect them to be better. Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, they're going to figure something out. But defensively, I expected nothing from them. But then again, Hurst came in and did what he was supposed to do. Took advantage of a weak defense. Didn't turn the ball over, I believe. Threw 3 touchdowns, had over 260 yards. So for right now, I would say yes, this is the right decision. He came out, did what he was supposed to do. You got to have quarterbacks come in and win the games they're definitely supposed to win. And then that next tier wins games that you're I'm a little iffy we can win that. That's the next tier. So we know he can win the games he's supposed to. But now as we get on to the season, let's see how he does against these division games. Let's see how he does against some of these out of division games when they go against tougher opponents with better defenses. Let's see how he does when they get more tape on him, things of that nature. Now, look, I'm not mad at the decision, like I said, to get rid of Wentz, injury-prone guy, hasn't been there for none of your playoff runs like we talked about last time. And I'm not mad at them going with Hurts, proven leader, shows that leadership, poise in the pocket, things of that nature. But I think this is going to be, if they start out something like, let's say, I wish I was looking at their schedule. If they start out something like 5-3, 6-2, I don't think they can start that good. Maybe 5-3. Yeah. I think that'll solidify a 5-3 start. But if they're just like 500 or something after about 6 to 7 weeks, then I could see them, maybe bringing in a vet, not necessarily benching Jalen Hurts because he would have to play, but bringing somebody like, hey, this guy's over your shoulder. They got Flacco,
Gardner Minshew
and Flacco, right?
Yeah.
So they already got some veterans looking over his shoulder as it is. So nothing is definitely set in stone. With them trading for Minshew after they already had Flacco to back up Hurts, that just lets me know nothing's set in stone with him yet.
Yeah, but I don't understand that at all. I don't understand at all. Like you just said, he has poise, he has leadership. When he plays, he has played well. I mean, I know it's a small sample size and it's just week 1, but he has played well. His teammates are behind him. I don't understand why there's questions whether he can be a starting quarterback on this team and period in the NFL. To a certain extent, I just think that stigma, and you know what I'm talking about, that stigma
I got you.
of black quarterbacks is still prevalent when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Like, we don't necessarily believe in him that much. What has he done to show that he might not be that guy?
Right.
Like, he has done nothing wrong, and I don't understand why this is a question. I don't understand why this is always a thing with black quarterbacks, with any quarterback of color. They doing the same thing with Tua Tagovailoa, and they not, giving either one of them a chance. But let's look at Jalen Hurts, the Eagles. The Eagles are rebuilding. They trying to find a franchise wide receiver. They think they're having Devontae Smith.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. They tried it out with Jalen Reagor. They got some couple other receivers.
I like Miles Sanders.
Yeah, running back. I like Miles Sanders too. Workhorse at running back. But I mean, they still retooling, and Jalen Hurts is part of that process. And I think that the Eagles, at least the organization, should get behind him more because he's done nothing wrong. He's done a solid job.
Right. No, I first off, the stigma is definitely there. It's still there no matter what. Every black quarterback coming out of college, the question is going to be, is he more of an athlete than a thrower? Can he make the throws on the next level? Will he do this? Well, that's always going to be there, unfortunately. But what I will say with Jalen Hurts is, and you brought up a great point, if you're rebuilding at receiver and you got young running backs and you're trying to, build from the ground up, why not go with the young guy? Why are you putting Flacco out there? You know what I'm saying? Why are you putting a vet? Flacco's at the point in his career where it's all mentorship at this point. If he's not backing somebody up, to me, in my opinion, it's all mentorship. Why trade for Minshew? If it's not the stigma, let's say it's not, the only thing I could think of is, okay, if that's not your guy, what's his name? Nick Sirianni. If that's not your guy and you don't believe in him, then make that known by moving. Don't waste his time. Like, let the reins loose. Like, I don't understand. I agree with you. Why is there still so many questions when a guy comes in, does what he's supposed to do? The team supports him. It doesn't make much sense, but unfortunately, that's just how it's been for years for quarterbacks in the league, and it's not right. But I think Jalen Hurts will ultimately end up being their starter. Now, granted, like I said, he went against a weak team like that, but just looking around the league, looking around how the quarterbacks play, he definitely fits that mold of the quarterback in 2021. I think he's going to win that starting job. Minshew didn't impress me that much in Jacksonville. Right now, he's the third string quarterback, I would assume, behind Flacco and Hurts. So I'm not really too worried about that. Hopefully, them bringing him in is maybe just like a little like, hey, we still can move you, so be on your toes, and maybe that should keep Jalen Hurts focused. But I think he's going to end up being the quarterback with them for a long time.
Yeah, me too, and definitely keep on building around him. All right, let's move to the fun segment where I just ask random questions on the spot. He don't know, my guests don't know what I'm going to ask them. They got to think quick on their feet, and I think Mike can do it. He survived last time. Let's see how he does. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Question number 1.
Okay.
It's a little over-under.
Okay.
A little over-under. For Chandler Jones, first game, 5 sacks. Okay. Over-under 20 sacks total this season for Chandler Jones.
Over-under 20 sacks. I'm going to go... I'm going to go over. I like Chandler Jones. I'm going over. I think he's going to have a big year this year. Already got 5 sacks out the gate. I'm going over. Book that. I'm going over.
What are we talking, 25?
I'm going to go... Nah, we ain't going to go that high. We're going to go 23. Smack dab 23. In the middle of that 20.
What's the record? Ain't the record 23 or 22.5?
I'm not sure.
I think Michael Strahan, we going to check on that, but I think Michael Strahan at least tied the record. So...
Right. Yeah.
You're saying he has a shot to break it.
I think he has a shot to break that this year.
Okay.
Five in week 1. 5 in week 1, and there's an extra game. Yeah, I give him a shot. I think we're gonna see a lot of records either get close or broken for sure, especially with the extra game added.
All right, Chandler Jones, get that money. All right. Question number 2.
Okay.
It's a tight end question.
Okay.
About Darren Waller. Okay. Can he leap over Travis Kelce and George Kittle and be the best tight end in the NFL?
This year? Or
this year, period?
I'm going to say no right now. I don't think he's better than Travis Kelce. I don't think he has a better quarterback. I think Kelce is set up for a long, lucrative career just because of how good he is and who's his quarterback. And you got Mahomes. He's going to get mad touchdowns, mad yards. Then he just broke what record? He broke a record last year. What was the record he broke? Was it yards or was it touchdowns? I'm not sure. I can't remember. But Kelce just got finished breaking the tight end record last year. So I'm going to go with the guy with the best quarterback who signed for what did Mahomes sign for? 10 years,
10
whatever
years,
it is.
400 to 500 million. Yeah,
I'm going to go with Kelce. Unfortunately, Waller, I think he'll be a top 5 tight end, but I ain't going to put you over Kelce yet.
He had like 107 receptions last year.
Right.
Something like that.
Granted, I know Waller is good. I like Derek Carr. I think he's underrated, but I don't think he's Mahomes level. And I think just having Tyreek Hill on the outside and having all the weapons they have, Kelce sees a lot of single coverage, man. He sees a lot of it. Unfortunately for the Raiders, I don't think that their receivers command that much help on the outside, where I think defenses will focus more in on Waller than anything.
Yeah, what about George Kittle?
George Kittle, I think he could be better than George Kittle. George Kittle is great, but that's a toss-up right there. I don't know. That
the fact that you're saying it's a toss-up.
That one I'm a little
Waller.
Yeah, that one I'm a little like, okay, I can see Waller surpassing him, but definitely not Kelce. I'm sticking with Kelce as a top guy.
All right. Question number 3.
Okay.
It's about the head coach. And the story been going around. Urban Meyer, he is the head coach of Jacksonville Jaguars. However, the job at USC, Southern California, just pulled up, and is now open. Do you think Urban Meyer would jump ship and go to USC?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think he would do that. I don't think the competitor in him would do that as a coach. I mean, you've coached before, I've coached. Once you get competitive, you're not gonna go leave your NFL team to go back to college just because you're struggling out the gate. It's his first year, right? Got Trevor Lawrence. It's a young team. No one's expecting a lot from the Jags. I want to see Urban Meyer stay in the NFL and build it up, build something crazy. The USC job, I know it's tempting. I know that job is tempting to be out there in LA. I get it. I mean, or in Cali, but nah, I think he's going to stay right there in Jacksonville and try to build up his career in the NFL.
The USC is Pasadena.
Pasadena, right?
Pasadena,
right.
Yeah. But, oh, man, that's just crazy. But I was reading, I'm like, come on, y'all. It's been 1 week. Y'all already expecting this.
It's only been 1 week,
back
man.
to college. Like, oh, man, come on.
Trevor Lawrence looked good. He looked all right.
Yeah, he all right. He okay. Well, come on, this 1 week. Last question. This is a very hard question.
Okay.
Do you think Cam Newton is done in the NFL?
I'm gonna say no. I do not think Cam Newton's done in the NFL. I do think he can still provide something for teams, whether he's their starting quarterback, whether he's subbing in for special plays, wildcat, whatever it may be, whether he's mentoring. I do still think there's a place in this league for Cam Newton. Thought he was going to be starting for the Patriots this year, but as we all know what happened in off season, things changed quick. They went with the young guy, but no, I definitely don't think he's done. Still too talented, still can make things happen. Obviously, we know he has a ceiling on what he can do, but on the right team, I think he would definitely fit with somebody still.
I don't want to say that he's done, but it's not looking good. It's not.
I agree with that.
It's really not. And one team he was rumored to go to with the quickness was the Washington football team, which leads us to our last topic, Thursday night football on tap. We got the New York Giants going in to Washington territory, taking on the Washington football team. Real quick, do you think their name should be the Red Wolves?
I'm okay with the Red Wolves. I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm okay with the Red Wolves. I like that. It's a good, nice little name. I'm not too big on the name, you know. Ultimately, what you gonna do on that field? That's what I'm concerned with. But I don't have a problem with Red Wolves. I like that.
Yeah, I like the Red Wolves too. All right, so let's just preview this game, break it down, and then have our prediction at the end. We was talking about quarterback play, right? We was talking about quarterback play. Daniel Jones. If not now, when? Daniel Jones, when are you gonna turn that corner? I don't know. There's no excuse for Daniel Jones now. There's no excuse. He got solid wide receivers. Sterling Shepard just came over 100 plus yards, came off a 100 plus yard game. I know, and the story just came out, news just broke. Saquon Barkley's list is questionable. But I think I didn't
see that. Okay.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna be like that throughout
all year, right?
Yeah, basically all year. I think he's going to be listed as questionable. But Daniel Jones has to take the reins now. You got to take the reins, and he's going against a tough defense in a Washington football team that got Sweat on one side and Chase Young on the other. Then you got Allen right there in the middle.
It's going to be a long night.
It's going to be a long night for him. And then on the other side, Washington football team, they're not going to sign Cam, unfortunately, but they are rallying behind Taylor Heineke, who actually has, when he stepped in, he's played solid. He's played solid. His coach talking him up, saying he is a gunslinger. He can throw the ball. His teammates like the way he playing. And we'll see in the Washington football team, there have been some people's pick to be the division winners out the NFC East. With the Cowboys are reeling right now. Giants, Daniel Jones, and and you got the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, and the rest of the crew is still young, still trying to figure out. So that leads the Washington football team. So their job, not only rally behind Taylor Heineke, but get Daniel Jones turnover. He's still turnover prone. Just lost another fumble. It's like it's 100th fumble in the NFL, and they can walk out with the win. What are you gonna be looking for in this game?
So I think this is a low-key big game for both sides of the ball. It's prime time. Daniel Jones got to come out and show something on prime time. Like you just said, you got receivers. What is it? Sterling Shepard. I think they got Galladay, Saquon Barkley. It's another receiver I'm forgetting, and I'm mad at myself.
Darius Slayton.
There it is, Slayton. So they got guys. This is prime time against a top defense. This is time to show what you can do. This is a year where they said it's time to figure out, do we have our next franchise quarterback or not? And on the other side of the ball with Washington, prime time game again. And you talked about they're not going to pick up Cam, but I feel like we're going to know something after this game. Heineke, primetime Thursday night. Now, granted, he's been in the playoffs and he's performed on some levels. Obviously, we saw him last year against the Bucks perform pretty well. And like you said, every time he gets in, he does a solid job. But now let's see if you can come in from the beginning of the game Thursday night on a game you should probably win. But I looked at the spread. It's only -3 for the Redskins. So it's really just a toss-up. But I think it's a big game because if Heineke could go out there and doesn't show up, then you're looking at it like, okay, well, Cam's there. The defense is ready now. Should we make that move just in case? Is this some guy that can put us over the hump? Basically, I think you're going to learn Thursday night whether you think Heineke can put this team over the hump because the defense is ready now, right? Defense is ready. It's all about can Heineke put up points, continue to move the ball, things of that nature. And I was looking at how he played in the last game, and a lot of those drives didn't really end because of him and his play. It was other things of that nature. There was a fumble here or there. So it's going to be I think it's a big game for Taylor Heineke. It's Thursday night. It's prime time. You going against a division opponent. You got to perform, or hey, they might bring in a guy who they know what he's going to do, and you're already giving him a defense, and he's shown when he has a defense, he can take teams a long way. So I think this is a big game for them. Am I giving my prediction, my winner?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
So I'm going with Washington. I think Washington is going to pull it out. I'm just not sold on Daniel Jones. Win against Broncos last week, another good defense. They held them, to 13 points. I think they got a touchdown towards the end. This defense is better than the Broncos defense. and Taylor Heineke, again, he can move in the pocket. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. As long as Washington scores enough points, which I think they will. I think they'll get in the end zone. Got Logan Thomas. You got Terry McLaurin. So you got some weapons there. I see them pulling this out. I think it's going to be like a 17-10 type of game.
Yeah. I was thinking it's going to be like a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
I can see Washington going for 20.
20? Okay.
I think it's going to be 2017, but I'm going to pick Washington as well. Defense, Justin Herbert didn't have a big day against them. I mean, he had a solid day, but he didn't have a big day. And they only held the Chargers to 20 points. They had 16, but that's because Fitzpatrick got out the game, injury, had to bring Heineke in. But I think against a weakened Giants team, Daniel Jones still inefficient, ineffective. This is set up for them to win. I'm going Washington football.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing is they shutting down that run. I think once Washington establishes you're not running on them and you forcing Daniel Jones to throw the ball, I think he's going to be throwing the ball up there around 40 to 45 times. I think he's going to be one of those type of nights. That's kind of what you want. But Washington's going to get after it, make mistakes. I can see them getting a turnover or two and really just taking this game over. So, yeah, I agree with you.
All right, we got Washington football winning the Thursday night game. This was the end of Stacey on Sports podcast show. Once again, I am your host, the voice of sports, Stacey Carter II. Mike, go ahead, plug your social medias. Where can we find you at?
Hey, man, so I'm on everything. If you want me on Facebook, just look me up, Michael White. You'll find me. Twitter, Mike_White Jr. You can follow me there, man. Any Crown Hoops, I'm with Stacey performing on there when we do our podcast there. So look me up, give me a follow, tell me I'm stupid. I'm with it all. Debate me, but trust me, the Packers are the best and so are the Lakers. So just remember that when you follow me. All right?
Right. Follow Mike White. Don't forget the Rams as well. All right. So until next time, I'll see everybody later.